How would you like to start today?
Well, we could do it with, usually how we start is we do the village caregiving chant.
How about this?
Okay.
We do the thing where I try to guess who it is. Give me a riddle.
Okay. I got this. Don't say anything or he'll recognize your voice, okay? So this director comes from a state.
Bobbi Brown.
You got it. The way that you elicit cheers from this audience is unbelievable.
It's a hometown crowd.
Yeah.
The good folks at Impact Media.
Yeah.
Who loves them more than me, though?
And no,
I'm a fan.
big fan of what Impact's doing. They're having such an
I
impact. Well, Bobbi, welcome into the studio. We have robbed you of the opportunity to introduce your name.
You can still introduce yourself.
Yeah, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do here at Village Caregiving.
So my name is Bobbi Lynn Brown, and I am the executive director in Cheyenne, Wyoming for Village Caregiving.
Awesome. Bobbi Lynn Brown.
Bobbi Lynn Brown.
Do people call you Bobby? Do they call you Bobbi Lynn? What do they
Both.
Okay.
The more fascinating piece to that is my husband is Bobbi Brown, too. So,
Bobby and Bobby?
yeah.
Bobbi Brown's also a makeup designer.
Yes, she
You didn't think I
is.
was going to know that, did you? Do you prefer to be called Bobbi Lynn? Which is your preference?
Bobby is fine. Bobby's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure I get that the way you like it.
Bobby's
You're
good.
new to West Virginia, right? You hadn't been to West Virginia before. Uh-oh. We lost a light.
This makes it more interesting. I always say just leave all this stuff in. Now we're all running around. It's great.
Yes, I've never been here.
You've never been here. It is a kind of an Appalachian thing to use two names, like Billy Joe, Bobbi Lynn. You don't hear that very often other places. Do you run into that? You travel a lot.
No. Do you want us to stop for real? Perfect. I love the answer to the question. Even what I'm talking about, keeping it in. Well,
Keep it
that
in.
It is very an Appalachian thing to have middle names involved, and I never knew that because I go by my middle name.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's the case for lots of people in our office. I could start telling you the people that work there by their first name, and you'd have no idea any of the people I'm talking about.
That's true.
wow.
His dad calls him his middle name.
Yeah, I go by Matt on my dad's side of the family.
My first name's Charles.
Yep.
So we also have John Hess,
That's Andy.
General Counsel, Richard Watson,
That's
President
Corey.
Sales and Marketing. Let's see, Dylan Yingling,
Yep.
that's data analytics.
Yep. That's Luke.
Christopher McGlone works in billing.
That's the Wadester.
I'm not sure if I'm going to forget some people that go by that. But either way, I just always took it for granted, like, well, that must be a common thing that people go by their middle name.
Ooh, my wife. Yeah,
Elizabeth Gustin.
Yeah, well, I almost forgot one. Sorry, babe.
Yeah, you had to throw that one in.
Yep, I got you.
But it's not common. So I Google one time, like, what percentage of people go by their middle name? I thought it might be, I don't know, 30. No, it's like 1. I don't remember the number, but it's some tiny thing. So it's a very, very regional thing for the most part. What I read was that because so many people, it's a traditional thing here more so than most places to name somebody after the parent or the grandparent. Then they don't want it to become confusing in the family, so you just call them the middle name. But in other places, that just blows people's mind to be called by your middle name.
Yeah.
And it is an aggravation.
Yeah, I've never heard that either.
Not to dive too deep into your personal life.
Sorry, Mom.
Right
Just
off.
kidding. It's not an aggravation. You got it.
But it was when you and your husband met, to be Bobby and Bobby, did that play any role at all in it, or has that been a frustrating thing? Is it like, I don't know whose Mel this is, or
They didn't have the same name at the time, Yo-Yo.
Well, they had the same first name,
Yeah, you can tell who's
Bobby.
male it is.
No, I'm not saying on day one. Clearly, they weren't getting Mel together. Like, whose Mel is this?
Okay.
But was it like Bobby and Bobby? Was it? Was that cool, or you wish he went by Richard?
No, it was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How'd you
Good.
guys meet?
Work.
Work. Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
work.
That's how Jeff and I met. Get the joke.
Spelled differently also, I'm guessing. Yours is Bobby with an I.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
with a Y.
I see. Well, cool.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of homework because we got a chance to talk before the podcast, but you're in Cheyenne, but Cheyenne was not originally home. Where are you originally from?
Colorado.
Colorado. What part?
Basically just outside of Denver.
Okay.
Fort Collins.
No, more Aurora.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Fort Collins is north.
I took a stab.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you had a pretty decent chance at it. So Aurora, Colorado was originally home, and then you said you moved around a little bit, but ended up in Cheyenne. How long have you been out in the Cheyenne market?
2 years.
2 years. What's your favorite part of that city?
Just the small town vibe.
Yeah, you said that the other day. What?
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit.
You know, I call it the big little town. It has everything that I need and want, but it still has, it's just that small town feeling. You know, you walk into a store, you walk into a restaurant, people are very friendly. They, you know, hi, how are you? You know, and that is really cool to me.
I got you.
Yeah.
We had a guest on not long ago that was giving Colorado a little hard time. They were visiting out there for a couple of years, and said that they didn't acclimate well to the folks out there. Do you notice a big difference between the people of Cheyenne and the people of the Denver area?
Yes.
Okay, just
very much so. Colorado's not the Colorado that I grew up in.
I see.
It's very different now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Not necessarily in a horrible way or anything.
Yeah, you're gonna have to face these people at some point.
Yeah, Colorado is absolutely a beautiful state. I mean, you ever mountains, vacations, it's amazing there.
Yeah.
But it's just a little different from when I grew up there.
I see.
Are you referring specifically to Denver when you say that, or really just the whole state? Because I enjoy traveling to Colorado, and I have a lot of friends that go there regularly too, and they all love it. I just am trying to figure out.
I would say the Front Range.
The Front
so
Range?
the Front Range is what they call it in Colorado. So from the Springs all the way to Fort Collins. Springs being southern Colorado, all the way up to northern Colorado. That Front Range corridor.
God, that's so local.
We are learning, I know, so much stuff. I was in southern Colorado not that long ago in Durango. Right? That's like right on the New Mexico border almost.
Yeah, that's way southern, yes.
Right. Okay, you don't mean that far.
No.
We're going to be local soon, buddy.
Golly. Have you ever been to Cheyenne?
One time.
Really?
Yeah. I know I need to go back and see Bobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's capital city, probably 50,000 people. It feels a lot like Charleston. Even the Capitol sits there on one street you drive by that feels a lot like Charleston does. Real similar.
You had mentioned in your assessment of the area that the trees are closer together here.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
A sea of trees is here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Does
cool.
it feel like you just can't see very well?
Yes.
I know that's a weird thing, and you should see in southern West Virginia when you get down into the real mountainous part, coal fields, and it's rough terrain down there, and really a wild place.
Really?
Even it's not so much these days lawless, but it stayed that way for a while.
Wow.
And there's it's a area that's affected by poverty and kind of a depressed area. It's really rural, not a lot of access to healthcare and jobs and stuff are tough, right? But man, you are like literally everything is straight up and down everywhere you look, and it becomes a thing that you don't think about. Like it's claustrophobic. Like I literally can't see anything. Like it begins like you're wearing a blindfold in life.
Right.
Kind of a crazy thing. So I get what you mean. Out there where you're at, you're on the freaking range.
Yep,
I mean,
it's wide open.
Yeah.
Big country.
Have you ever done much travel out west like that to experience like what I mean? Like just like my God, like
we drove from Dallas to Oklahoma City one time, and I swear there was not an end anywhere in sight. Like we never got to like, oh, there it is. Like there's that. It just went on.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah, it's
You
unbelievable.
can drive for hours and not see anything.
Yeah,
I like it out there.
It's beautiful.
I can't wait to come back. Whenever, we've talked about your previous jobs and things. You have a real kind of what I would call like an entrepreneurial spirit about you. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, it's like we were talking last podcast with Morgan about how hard it is to stay connected to, for instance, we used your office as an example in Cheyenne, and we're 2,000 miles away. How do you do that? Really hard. And I spend a lot of time thinking about that and worrying about that. So when you have somebody like you, it's really a perfect fit because you're such a self-starter, just self-motivator, internally motivated, entrepreneurial, like just do stuff.
Right.
Thank you, number one, for making our job easy. But where did that come from? You were just born like that, or did your parents put that in you, or other job experiences? I don't know.
Honestly, that I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just something in me that has that self-starter attitude. I'm just constantly, I'm not one to sit. I'm constantly going. And my husband often tells me your brain never stops. Like even when you're sleeping, it's still going. So it's just, I'm constantly going. I cannot stand to be bored. I just do not like that feeling where, you're just sitting or just not thinking and not processing things. So I'm not quite sure where I got it, but I definitely got it.
Yeah. What do you do when you're bored?
When I'm bored, I don't get bored.
You're sitting around the house on a Saturday afternoon, not a work day. There's no plans for the day. You're just kind of like, well, I'm starting to feel a little bored. What's your default?
I'm cooking.
Oh,
I'm cooking.
Let's talk about that for a minute. What are you whipping up in there?
Anything. I am definitely obviously a home cook, but comfort food. I can open that refrigerator in my cabinet, my pantries, and I can make something out of nothing.
That sounds good.
And I make it good.
I'd eat that. Yeah.
Well, no, we talked a lot yesterday, and you were telling me what a good cook you are and how I like to, but it really hurts my back a lot. You good cook?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not, like, I can lean into some recipes and do it. Comfort foods specifically. I love a good Thanksgiving dinner. Right. We had Thanksgiving one time, not at Thanksgiving. Jeff and I did.
That's good.
I tried to find a turkey all year long. You know how hard that is, and it's not around Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Not that easy.
What month was that in? Was that
August?
August, yeah. I can't remember if it's July or
wow.
August. Yeah. Full Thanksgiving spread they had.
Wow.
That's good friends, isn't it?
That is great.
It's delicious, yeah.
That's awesome.
I cooked the turkey, too. How was it?
It was excellent. It came out looking really good, commercial grade. I thought it was exceptional.
Commercial grade. It's not a lawn bag.
It's heavy duty, built to last.
Right.
Did you cook it in a bag?
No, my method is just real simple. The first key to your turkey is you got to get it really, really dry. I might go through a whole roll of paper towels getting all the moisture out of this guy. Otherwise, it cooks. It's kind of got a little bit sliminess to it. You got to get this guy dry so it gets a nice crisp on there.
Okay.
All right, you get it dry. You put it in a tin foil pan. Just some oil, salt, pepper. Pretty heavy on the pepper because that makes the outside of it turn a little bit different color too and makes it prettier. That's for the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
And then, you're going to want to cook it. Depends on the weight, something like 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. And then for that last hour and 10 minutes, put a little foil on the top. Keeps cooking without getting it overly browned on top. And that's all you got to do. Don't overthink it. Don't do too much. That's kind of what Anthony Bourdain will tell you about cooking eggs, for example. Stop trying to put milk in it. Stop trying to make them. They're eggs. Cook the eggs. Move them around. Scramble them in a little figure eight. Stop fiddling with it too much. Don't over stir it. You want them to be almost kind of folded in together. Right? So that you have bigger chunks. You don't want little tiny scrambles of eggs. Small little pieces.
No
you
one
want
wants
some
that.
fluffy big pieces. But keep it moving the whole time and get them out of there before they're too done. Turkey's a lot alike. You can really mess them up by going, you're doing too much.
Too far.
Okay.
Do you guys have a traditional Thanksgiving turkey? Is that
Yes.
okay? And do you deep fry that? Do you throw it in the oven? What do you do with that guy?
It's in the oven, but I cook mine in a bag.
You do it in the bag.
In the bag.
Okay.
That's an excellent turkey too. It was like sous vide sort of a deal, or am I messing? That's when you dip the bag down in water or something.
No, it's just a bag that you put the
Yeah, it's
turkey
just
in and
an
put it in the
oven bag.
oven.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just the way I was taught.
Yeah. What's your go-to Thanksgiving dessert?
Oh. Recently, it's been bread pudding. I've been making bread
That
pudding.
sounds so good right now. I am
Really
so
does.
hungry. I'm
Where's Hunter's mom at when
I know.
where's Hunter? Is he not here?
he's in Disney?
Oh, wow.
Is he really? Well, call him up and ask him if his mom could bring some pulled pork by.
Yeah. Get some tacos.
It's
going.
excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
His mom's a great cook. Okay, back to business.
Yeah, no, you're
We
good.
got food on the brain.
Yeah, we're heavy on the turkey.
Did you see how passionate I got about
I-
turkey and
once-
eggs a second ago?
Once you start talking about how dry you make the turkey, I was like, we're going to be here for a minute. That's how this goes. So he was talking about your background stuff. Tell us a little bit about about coming to Village Caregiving. What is your background in? You don't have to be super specific with like company names, but what's your history with before Village Caregiving?
HOA, property management.
Okay. What did that look like?
That looked tough. It's a very tough industry. I'll say
Okay.
that. But I loved it for 12, 13 years, but it's definitely a very unique industry. I'll say that.
How did you get into that?
I actually kind of fell into that
see.
after I actually was my mom's main caregiver and advocate for about 12 years after she suffered a massive stroke.
I see.
So when she was kind of stable, I was able, I thought I can go back to work. And
Yeah.
I just kind of fell into that.
I
A
see.
friend of a friend said, "Hey, try it out. It's great.
Yeah.
I think you'll be good at it." So
But it was really tough
it was very tough.
because you get complaints all the time.
It's every single day. It's, for every home that you manage, if you will, you basically have two bosses. So if your portfolio consists of 5,000 homes, you basically have 10,000 bosses, and each boss is wanting and demanding things that are very different. What's really important to one is not to the other.
Yeah.
So it's a very big juggling act and lots of fires to put out. So yeah,
At the risk of looking really dumb here, who are the two bosses of each home?
the owners of the home.
The spouses, you mean? Okay.
Well, yeah, because even
And they're not on the same page, so it's like two different things coming at you all the time.
right. So the husband can be really wanting and very passionate about parking, let's say, but the wife could care less, but she's very passionate about landscape.
I see.
So you
just
have that
coming
with
at you from different things.
thousands of people.
Yeah. Is the HOA experience unique only to American culture? Do we know?
No, it's actually not.
Okay.
There are other, I don't know about like very, very abroad, but I know
Sure.
like Mexico has, HOAs for sure.
I see.
Yeah.
You looking at getting you a villa in France or something?
Yeah, we had looked at them, and I was like, "Well, what's the HOA requirements?" Of course, that's the number one question I ask anytime that I'm looking at buying international properties. I want to know those things. That's probably question number one or two. Crime, and then that, of course.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Bobby, if you could move to any other U.S. state besides Wyoming or Colorado, where would you move to?
Any state. Probably Louisiana.
Why is that?
I love it down there. I love the South. It's just like I was looking on the website and saw there was a possible Hickory. Where's that? Hickory, Alabama?
That's
North Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina. That's right. So I was looking, but
It's getting warmer. We're getting down there.
Yeah.
yeah, anything
Louisiana,
south.
is that a New Orleans
It
specific
is.
thing? Yeah.
It's a
The food,
honestly,
the
it's
heat,
the food.
the-
It's the food.
Yeah.
It's the food and the people.
Fun place.
Fun place.
You're going to go down there and just party.
Yep.
Good answer. What about you?
Outside of Ohio, I just have never looked, but I would guess, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Came out so fast, I missed it.
Yeah, specifically Hilton Head.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, if you're looking, and you're like, oh, geez, I wish I had someone that could live in our spare property at Palmetto Dunes, Hilton Head, just call me.
You can call me too. That'd be fabulous.
Yeah. I was talking specifically to you, Jeff.
Oh,
I don't know anybody. I thought maybe you might want to look for some kind of a sponsorship sort of thing, or
I could spend my days at the general store at Palmetto Dunes. Have you ever been to Hilton Head?
no,
Look it up. You want to go.
never been.
you ever even heard of it?
I have heard of it.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean you're on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a thing that translated that far away.
You went to New Orleans, it sounds like, but where, like, if you're in Cheyenne and you're like, oh, we need a vacation, where do people, like here, most people will go to, like, say, Myrtle Beach, or they'll go to Florida. Where do people in Wyoming go on vacation?
I would say definitely like Florida, California, to the beaches.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if California would be more local than Florida for
Yeah,
Wyoming folk.
I would say either one. California's a little bit closer.
What state would you live in?
Well, that's a good question, Aaron. I don't know. I could just pick any place.
Well, you're the one that
Well-
asked the questions.
It's not about a state as much as I love New York, so I guess that would be it. But boy, I'd be freezing in the wintertime.
Yeah, price you pay.
Still my answer. I'd just stay indoors, I guess. Or vacation someplace. I'll come to Louisiana with you.
You'll be a snowbird. There
Right.
you go.
Well, do you read much? Are you a book reader?
I am.
Are you? Have you ever heard of Jeff's book reviews?
No,
Jeff?
You haven't?
I have not.
Well, you're in luck. This one is called Making Ideas Happen.
Okay.
Wow. The obstacles between vision and reality. I like where this is going.
Overcoming the obstacles between vision and reality. Yes, so you've got the vision. How do you actually make an idea happen and make it become reality? This is by Scott Belsky. I actually talked about this book briefly on LinkedIn the other day in a post. It's just, this is nonfiction, obviously. It's a kind of business-related book and strategy and stuff, but it's one of the better ones that I've read in the last year or two. So there at the home office, there's a great big bookshelf of anybody's welcome to bring him and stick them up there, but I kind of organize it from like best to don't waste your time. Kind of wonder sometimes, like, I shouldn't even bring these in. What if somebody doesn't know they're in order?
The bad ones?
Yeah, I don't want to waste anybody's time. But either way, this one would be up near the front.
Okay.
And I think it was only about 5 or 6 back. So there's my recommendation. I don't need to say much more about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
like
speaks for itself.
Have you ever had a good idea? Yeah?
I have plenty of good ideas.
Yes.
You want to make it happen?
Yeah. How do you make that happen? Read that book.
Make it happen.
What?
You guys don't happen to have a podcast, do you?
No, we don't. Only because of the time zone difference. We had talked about doing it. What's your favorite book, if you had to pick one?
Oh, this is probably going to sound really corny,
No.
but it's cookbooks.
Really?
I love cookbooks. We have hundreds of them. I
Yeah.
go to estate sales, and that's what I look for. It's old cookbooks. And
We have a director. Do you know, we have a director right now that is publishing their grandmother's recipes in a cookbook. They're working with
Who?
it's a good
Let's
question.
publicize this.
wow.
I don't know that they're ready for it to be public yet is the issue. That's what I was saying. But it was really cool. They're working with a publisher in New York. When it's ready to be, we will make sure that it's revealed on this podcast.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
they shared that with me not long ago. So, Jeff, what you got going on over there?
Well, I was reading it's an advice column in the Times, and I thought you guys might like to give your opinion on it.
Yeah.
All right.
You ever hear a situation, you see something on social media or you hear one of these and you think, well, I wish they'd asked me that question. I would give them an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's your chance.
Uh-oh.
Chance.
Uh-oh.
On a side note, did you know there's a crisis at NPR?
Oh, no.
Sponsorship revenue is down. Listeners are leaving. can the public radio network recover? Yes or no? I'm going to ask you 5-10 years later. We'll see if you were right.
Can NPR? Well, they're government funded. Of course, they're going to.
Can the public radio network recover?
I think no.
No.
2 no's. Oh.
Yeah. I think they continue to exist, but I don't think they recover.
Okay. Hot takes. You heard it here first, folks. This what I'm going to ask you here was submitted by an anonymous reader.
Okay.
Okay, this is titled "The Ship is Sinking. Can I Jump to a Client's?" Okay, here's the story. I'm in a senior position with a marketing agency that's in bad shape.
Oh no.
Employees are on reduced hours and pay because our work has slowed substantially. The owners pledged to get new work but have not made any moves in that direction. I'm looking for a new job, and I've seen some very appealing openings with our current clients. I'd be a great candidate because I know many of the players and they know and like my work. We don't have a non-compete, but I'm worried I would further harm my employer if I applied for a job with our clients. Mm-hmm. Will the clients take it as a red flag if I apply? Will I accelerate the demise of my current company if I jump ship to a client? Anonymous. All right. You're on the clock. What do you tell them? Let's take it one thing at a time. Do you think that your current employers will the client where you go to apply for this new job, will they take it as a red flag that you're kind of betraying your current employer, or is that just part of fair game?
I think that it's a red flag.
Red flag, okay. Yeah. Expand on that opinion. What about that concerns you?
Well, I think maybe you would have to have a conversation with your current first, maybe, to kind of let them know.
So it's more so the secretive nature of how you're having the interaction. Yeah. Okay. Aaron Gustin?
If I'm buying into the fact that the ship is sinking and I'm going to leave regardless, like I've got to get off this thing before it crashes out. I don't, if I'm the client and they apply, I'm not seeing that necessarily as a negative yet.
Okay.
So I'm okay if I'm the future employer and someone that is a contractor with us comes over and it's like, hey, I like what I'm seeing here.
Okay, so far Bobby's got a little bit of a flag up here. You're feeling a little better about it.
I'm okay right now.
Step 2.
Yeah.
Should this person be concerned that it might accelerate the demise of my current company if I jump ship to a client? What do you tell this person about that?
Yeah.
I think it depends on how faithful they are to the current company.
We've had this happen, right? We've had people that know Village Caregiving through like third-party vendor relations that have applied or have joined the company. I always find it to be I think it's really cool when people are exposed to Village Caregiving. They're like, hey, I'd love to be a part of that. Like, that's a huge compliment to the company. Does it harm the current employer? Probably. I mean, when they start bleeding talent off to their clients or to their contacts, and then you're going to ask during the interview, like, why are you wanting to leave XYZ marketing? And they're like, well, I just don't think the future's strong there because it's contracting instead of expanding. Mm-hmm. Well, now that employer is looking there like, I don't want to be with a sinking ship either. Maybe I should be getting some fillers out for their replacement.
Okay. Do you want to hear what the expert advice person said?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how close you all were to the correct answer.
I don't feel great about this one.
I'll read what the Times answer says, and then I'll give you the right answer.
I'll say this. Sometimes I feel these folks are being selfish or worrying about stuff. This is a legitimate concern. They sound loyal to their company. They don't want to expedite the demise of their company, but they also like see opportunities that they need to take personally. I get their conflict. This is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
It
I
is
respect
definitely
that.
tough.
So here's what the advice is. You will not harm your employer by taking a new job with one of its clients. You are not responsible for your employer's demise. If the roles were reversed, it would not offer you a fraction of the consideration you are offering. It is a job, and maybe you love it, but as I have said many times before, it will not and cannot love you back.
Wow.
If there are no non-compete issues, which may not matter anyway, as the FTC banned non-competes last week, by all means, take a job with a client. If the client asks why you're leaving your agency, you're welcome to offer a diplomatic answer, or you can tell the truth. This is not an ethical quandary.
Yeah.
It's not an ethical quandary, it says. It would be unethical only if, for example, you took a position with a client and then shared proprietary information about your former employer or its other clients.
You agree with that?
Okay, so here's my take on it. Somebody wants to come to Village Caregiving from a vendor that we've used. Do I see that as a red flag? Well, I need a little bit more information on that. It's going to be one or two questions, not a whole lot. I'm not trying to equivocate too much.
Okay.
I'm going to say, why is it that you're looking to make the leap?
Yeah.
Right.
If they give me some responsible, it's a sinking ship. The owners of the company have told us they're pledging to work towards new business, but they haven't made any movement in that direction whatsoever. It's not a red flag to me. I'd be like, well, sounds like you better get out. That's fine. It just makes common sense to me at that point. If they start going on about like how, oh, well, my boss is a jerk and this place doesn't know anything, and kind of bad mouthing the employer with not facts, but a lot of opinion, all of a sudden I'm kind of like, oof, could be true, could not be true. I don't know, but probably I'm the next person they're going to be critical of, so I better watch out. Would it accelerate the demise of the current company if they jump ship? You can't worry about that. I agree with the column on that. And that's from a business owner too. If one of you guys did that, that's not your responsibility to worry about that. That's the company's problem. I mean, it's a job, like it said.
Yeah.
They might love the job, and in our case, I actually do love them back. But even still, you just can't worry about that. If there's a better opportunity out there, you should expect your boss and the owners of the company to be happy for you that you took that opportunity and are going to improve your life and your kids and your family's life. That's good stuff. I'd be happy for somebody, even as much as it might hurt me.
Yeah.
If it was what was right for them, that would make sense. Mm-hmm. And if they're not happy for you, you probably work for a jerk anyway. Get out.
Well, I think that's good advice.
All right. Well, I guess we can just wrap up then.
I think we've accomplished everything we hope to accomplish today. So, yeah.
Any final thoughts, Bobbi?
On that?
Well, just anything.
Just life.
Just
Yeah.
life.
What is the meaning of life, you think?
Oh,
Is it fair?
no. No.
One thing I do know is life ain't
It
fair.
is not fair.
Sometimes you win and it ain't fair. Sometimes you lose and it ain't fair.
But not fair.
What means the most to you?
In life, certainly my family. My family.
Number one value.
Yes. Number one value.
We have a lot in common, actually. We talked about this some yesterday too.
Because you guys both value family.
We got to end the show. No, there's we did the exercise where you have 50 different words on a list, like core values, and I was making this. It's a good exercise to see how well somebody's values may align with your own or not. And you and I have done this, and we have a lot in common. But of those 6 words or so we picked, how many were in common? Like 1?
Yeah.
And we're very much alike. So it just goes to show you, until you really understand and define your own core values for yourself, how are you even going to know how to fulfill your own life? You don't even know what it takes to be fulfilled.
Right.
So step 1 is to identify those things. That's why I ask.
I see.
Family. There you go.
Family.
And I
So
liked
if the
it.
company feels like family, that'll mean more to you too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. What was my other one? Or one of the other ones was authentic.
Authenticity,
Yep. Authenticity.
Empathy,
Yep. Compassion.
honesty,
Yep.
security. That was one that resonated with you, actually.
Yeah. I read a book recently where the main person in the book was was void of empathy and felt like that was a positive instead of a negative. It was
goodness.
had a real interesting take on it, but
I mean, if you're on a freaking mission to save humanity and there's aliens coming or something, I mean, it'd better be a pretty serious, a lot at stake to have no empathy.
For a guy that's not read Elon Musk biography, you sure didn't nail that.
Okay, well, he's allowed to. If he's trying to go to Mars, that's okay.
That was a very specific statement to make.
I'll see. I'm in tune. That's my empathic nature.
That is unbelievable. But well, anyways, so I can't think of a better way to end the podcast than that.
All right. Thank you,
cool.
Bobbi,
Yeah.
for
Thank
answering all
real
these
quick.
tough questions.
Thank you.
We
for
didn't give her
having
the
me.
award.
The
The
award.
what?
Oh,
You've officially been the one to travel the furthest to be a guest on the podcast.
There we go.
And it is
That is
near
special.
impossible to not be international and beat your numbers. So I think you're going to hold this award for quite a while. So that's
Okay,
really
good.
exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hey, yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Borrow my
Salute.
glass.
There we go.